True Sports episode 82 is on the air. I'm Taylor Phillips. He's Louis Tenor. The Patriots are 0-2 for the first time since 2001.
Hmm. Before Brady.
Well, poor Belichick. Brady's already retired.
Yeah, no, but the last time the Patriots was bad, Brady wasn't here yet. It's back to the pre-Brady era.
Yeah. Yeah. How about that game between Colorado State and Colorado? That
Yeah,
was
I
a
heard it's a real
doozy.
barn burner. Yeah, well, nothing like state rivals going at each other. They know each other. They know they know their strategies against each other. So it didn't really phase me that it was going to be that kind of a game. I kind of expected that. That's what a state rivalry game should be.
Yeah. Back to the NFL. The Lions lost to the Seahawks again for the fifth
I know.
straight
I saw
time.
that. Ugh.
It's not the officials' fault. Definitely not.
No.
No, definitely not. And Carlos Monterez has the audacity to blame the crowd noise for the game,
Uh huh.
or lack. He thinks it's a lack thereof. Carlos Monterez from the Detroit Free Press.
Oh
Are
yeah.
you freaking kidding me? Carlos Monterez. Uh,
Yeah.
Carlos Monterez has been a freaking joke in the Detroit Free Press for at
Well,
least the last at least the last almost decade.
I know. I've seen
He's
some
like the
reports
next.
from
He
him.
likes. He's like the next Drew Sharp.
Yeah, I've seen some reports from the Detroit Free Press when I've been doing my articles over the years, and I kind of agree. I kind of agree with that. What a jerk.
Yeah, yeah. Ed Smith and I are gonna touch on that while we analyze the Lions' defense or lack thereof, which is the important aspect
Right.
of why they lost.
I thought they had it too. I really did. Ugh. I was actually streaming the game that day
They came
myself.
back from down 10 to tie it up and force overtime.
Yes, I saw the game. I
But
streamed it.
yeah, even though I don't agree with the overtime rules either,
Right.
I still blame solely the Lions' defense.
Yeah.
I think each team should have possession, just like in college football. But really, the Lions'
Yeah.
secondary defense did not even care, especially not Tracy Walker, and their
Yeah.
pass rushing defense wasn't there much either.
Sounds like the Jets game.
Yeah,
Yeah. Lack of defense. Though I wasn't
yeah.
surprised by that result at all.
No, the Lions play the Falcons next Sunday.
Wow.
So the Cowboys they played it too, didn't they?
Against the Jets.
Against the
I
Jets, yeah.
wasn't. I wasn't surprised by that at all. I mean, to be honest, let's put it this way: Wilson is not going to carry this team to the Jets team to success at all. I mean, as
Right.
terrible
Besides,
as
the Cowboys are too
yeah,
much.
yeah, they are. But Wilson as a starter, he's pitiful.
Right.
9-15 as of now. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put up the loser sign. They had no defense at all.
Yep. Yep.
Ah,
Michigan stays at number two, despite scoring only 31 points against a trash Bowling Green team at home.
yeah, Bowling
Michigan
Green.
still won 31-6.
Yeah.
Michigan State got destroyed 41-7 by
What
eighth
happened?
ranked Washington.
Whatever happened when the Spartans used to be good?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know this too, don't you? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mark D'Antonio was their head coach back then.
Hmm.
Now Mel Tucker, uh, yeah, 2-0 before his suspension. Just a lot of sexual predators out there at Michigan State University.
Uh huh.
But but there are also those who are not not holding those coaches up, such as D'Antonio, that were not holding his coaches
Yeah.
accountable anymore, and then he had to resign in 2020, early 2020,
Mm. And then the Spartans
calendar
have never been the
wise.
same since.
Right, and they signed Mel
Yeah.
Tucker to a 10-year, $95 million contract,
Wow.
and then his sexual assault allegations with a lady at MSU, probably probably like one-sided phone sex.
Uh-huh. If this
That's
keeps
what
up, he's not
happened.
gonna last 10 years.
No, they can fire him without pay too. Right now, he's suspended without pay.
Why stop there? Fire the bum.
Yeah. Well, you have to do even more investigative work.
A lot of red tape. I get it.
Hmm.
Uh, to put it plainly, red tape.
The NHL preseason has started early.
I'm still trying to look for the scores of the preseason. I haven't said anything yet. I thought it started like maybe Thursday or something.
I believe. I think it's the last time I saw an NHL preseason game was just like last night.
Huh. I'm gonna check that. Because according to the schedule here, the NHL preseason schedule does not start till Friday. Unless they're just doing scrimmages.
Yeah.
That might be it. The actual preseason doesn't begin till Friday at this point.
Oh yeah,
According
that's
to
right. Oh,
according to
that's a good
ESPN.com.
point. Yeah, I think I got ahead of myself. That happens.
So a lot of hockey fans too.
Yeah, I can't wait for hockey to begin.
Drop the puck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be additionally a play-by-play announcer for a new semi-pro hockey team, the Kalkaska Battlers.
Aha.
That's like 30 to 35 minutes away from me, or 40. Still
Nice.
not too far away from me.
Yeah.
Lake City's like 30 minutes away from Kalkaska.
Hmm.
I live like 5 miles south of Lake City, of that town.
So this is more like suburban area, right? I guess.
Well, Lake City's a small town. Kalkaska,
Uh,
kind of kind of a bigger town, just not
hmm.
as big as Traverse City.
Right.
So, with that being said, it's time for your true sports report. Baseball is going on as well. Tigers swept the
2 weeks.
Angels.
Yeah. 2 weeks to go until the regular season comes to conclusion, and it's heating up in some divisions for some teams, while others their season was over back in May. I'll explain. The Orioles beat the Rays in a doozy 5-4 in 11 innings. Hall got the win and Dykeman got the loss. Pirates over the Yankees 3-2. Oh boy. Rochi got the win. Rodan got the loss, and Mendar got the save. The Blue Jays, excuse me, I hate when this happens. Every time I do those scores, those stupid pop-up ads come up. Pardon me for that. All right, the Blue Jays over the Red Sox 3-2. Swanson got the win and Whitlock got the loss. The Marlins just had a field day with the Braves, and they destroyed them 16-2. That is not a misprint. That is the actual score. Luzardo got the win and Morton got the loss, and believe me, he got the loss. Mets doubled up on the Reds 8-4. Quintana got the win. Williamson got the loss. The Guardians over the Rangers 9-2. Williams got the win. Bradford got the loss. Astros over the Royals 7-1. Oh, come on. This is getting ridiculous. I got an idea.
Ever tried
Okay.
Ad Block Plus? Ad Block? Yeah, Ad Block
Hmm.
Plus.
I better get something like that. Okay, this
That's a
time I got this
suggestion.
time, yeah, I think I got it now because I put the X button on it. There we go. All right. So the Astros overall 7-1. Valdez got the win and Lyles got the loss. Twins blanked the White Sox 4-0. Gray got the win. Cease got the loss. In 11 innings, the Brewers. Hold it. Stuck here. In 11 innings, nope, the Nationals beat the Brewers 2-1. Garcia got the win, and Vera got the loss. Cardinals over the Phillies 6-5. King got the win. Dominguez got the loss, and Hesley got the save. Here was a slugfest for you. Giants over the Rockies 11-10. Manana got the win.
Slugfest.
Lexington got the loss, and Rogers got the save. Yep, good old-fashioned slugfest.
Yep.
As we mentioned, the Tigers over the Angels 5-3. Wentz got the win. Rosenberg got the loss, and Lang got the save.
Lane got a save against the Angels. He blew one last night.
Padres over the A's 10-1 as their travesty of a season continues. Avea got the win. Walchuk got the loss. And the Dodgers over the Mariners 6-1. Yarbrough got the win. Gilbert got the loss, and Stone got the save. And finally, the D-backs over the Cubs 6-2. Ferris got the win, and Wicks got the loss. All right, we'll go to the schedule here. It's a lighter schedule for a Monday night. That's not unusual. And it goes like this. As we head down now to the last 12 or 13 games of the season. All right, beginning at 2:10, the Guardians take on the Royals. Your 6:40 games, the Twins take on the Reds. The Mets take on the Marlins. 7:05, the White Sox take on the Nationals. 7:20, the Phillies take on the Braves. 7:45, the Brewers take on the Cardinals. 8:05, the Red Sox take on the Rangers. 8:10, the Orioles take on the Astros. 9:40, the Mariners take on the A's. The Rockies take on the Padres at 9:40. At 10:10, your Tigers take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. And who is the only team that can beat the Dodgers? The Dodgers themselves. Although the Braves make something to say about that too. Okay, standings. The standings, and here we go. All right. The Orioles and the Rays clinch the division spot today. I'll get to that in a little bit while. The Orioles are 93-56, 2 games ahead of the Rays at 92-59. Blue Jays hanging in there at 83-67, but 10.5 back. Yankees 76-74, 17.5 back. And the Red Sox at 74-76, 19.5 back. Over to the Comedy Central. Oh boy. The Twins, the only decent team, at 79-71. The Guardians are 7 games back at 72-78. Forget it. Tigers are 70-79, 8.5 back. Further down the list, the White Sox.
Only 9 games below 500.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Further down the list, the White Sox are 57-93, 22 back and already out of contention. And the Royals, 48-102, 31 back. They've been out of contention since June. To the West, in a much better division, somewhat. The Astros are 84-66, hold a game-and-a-half lead over the Rangers at 82-67. The Mariners hanging in there, 81-68, 2.5 back, while the Angels are gone at 68-82, 16 back, and the A's, still the A's, at 46-103, 37.5 back. Yuck. That's pathetic. To the National League, the Braves keep pouring it on, 96-53, a commanding 15-game lead over the Phillies at 81-68. The Marlins 78-72, 18.5 back. The Mets 69-80, 27 back. They're going nowhere. And the Nationals 30.5 back at 66-84. To the Central, the Brewers are 84-65, and they're taking charge now as the Cubs are 6.5 back at 78-72. The Reds 78-73, 7 back. Doable, but they gotta get the act together now. Pirates 70-80, 14.5 back, and the Cardinals 66-83, 18 back. And in the West, the Dodgers 91-57 have a commanding 13.5 game lead over the D-backs at 79-72. Giants, doable at 76-74, 16 back to get a wild card, that is. Padres 72-78, 20 games out, likely have a wild card spot. And the Rockies are Rocky Mountain low at 56 and 93, 35 and a half back. All right, so now we'll go to the NFL. By the way, all MLB games are clear for the day, so we'll just eliminate that right now. All right, so the NFL goes like this. Just wrapped up. The Dolphins over the Patriots 24-17. Tua Tagovailoa, 240 passing yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. Morissette had 18 carries, 121 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Waddle had 86 receiving yards. This was a close one. Falcons over the Packers 25-24. Wow. Ryder had 237 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Robinson had 124 rushing yards on 19 carries, and London had 67 receiving yards to go along with a touchdown. The Bills crushed the Raiders 38-10. Josh Allen, 274 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. My girlfriend will be happy about that. Cook had 123 rushing yards on 17 carries, and Davis had 92 receiving yards and a touchdown. Ravens over the Bengals 27-24. Lamar Jackson, 237 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Edwards had 62 rushing yards on 10 carries and a touchdown. And Higgins had 89 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Wow. As we mentioned, Seahawks over the Lions in overtime, 37-31. Smith, 328 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Montgomery, 67 rushing yards, 16 carries, and 1 touchdown. And Brown, 102 receiving yards. Titans over the Chargers.
Montgomery left with a thigh injury, too. That's more like a hamstring injury.
That's not good. The Titans
miss a couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks. This is ridiculous. Okay, so to go on further, the Titans. Hold on, let me get back here. All right, the Titans of the Chargers, 27-24. Herbert, 305 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 80 rushing yards, 25 carries, and a touchdown. Allen, 111 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. So, pretty good. All right, moving along. The Bucks over the Bears, 27-17. Mayfield, 317 passing yards, 1 touchdown. White, 73 rushing yards on 17 carries and a touchdown. And Evans, 171 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Chiefs over the Jaguars, 17-9. Patrick Mahomes, 305 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Panchero, 70 rushing yards on 12 carries, and Kirk had 110 receiving yards. Not bad. Colts over the Texans, 31-20. C.J. Stroud, 384 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Zach Moss, 88 rushing yards on 18 carries and 1 touchdown. Collins, 146 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. In the Battle of California, the 49ers over the Rams, 30-23. Matthew Stafford, oh sure, 307 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. McCaffrey had 116 rushing yards, 20 carries, and 1 touchdown. And Naka, 147 receiving yards. And that. Giants of the Cardinals, 31-28. Danny Dimes, 321 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Connor, 106 rushing yards on 23 carries and a touchdown. And Hyatt, 89 receiving yards. Cowboys over the Jets, 30-10. Dak Prescott, 255 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Pollard, 72 rushing yards, 25 carries. And Lamb, 143 receiving yards. Commanders over the Broncos, 35-33. I had the Broncos, actually. Oh, boy. Wilson, 308 passing yards, 3 touchdowns on interception. Robinson, 87 rushing yards, 18 carries, 2 touchdowns. And Mims Jr., 113 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. And for those of you who missed, the Eagles took the Vikings 34-28 in Thursday's game. Cousins had 364 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. Swift, 175 rushing yards on 20 carries and a touchdown. And Jefferson had 159 receiving yards. And we actually have 2 games tomorrow. We have the Saints and Panthers at 7:15. That game is on ESPN, ESPN2, while your ABC game has the Browns and the Steelers. And I think it's a little bit early to do the standings. We'll do that maybe like in the next week or two, because everybody's either 1-1, 0-2, and it's still a little bit early.
Way too early.
All right, yeah. Come back in about 2 weeks. I got some soccer news. Here. I cover soccer as well, so I'll take care of this. As in MLS, the Portland Timbers beat Austin FC 2-1. In the women's department, the NWSL, Chicago and Angel City fell to a 2-2 tie. Orlando over North Carolina 2-1. I cover soccer. Hey, I'm just that kind of a guy. What can I say? Yeah. And WNBA playoffs also in effect as we are now in the first round here. So we'll take care of this right now. The Aces beat up on the Sky 92-70. I'm not surprised at all, as Vegas is now up 2-0 in the series. But a big surprise was that the Minnesota Lynx beat the Connecticut Sun 82-75, and that series tied at 1 apiece. And as I said, each series in this is the best of 3. Okay, wow. Very surprised by the Minnesota Lynx here. Very surprised indeed. Alright, so now I'll take on to the news of the day. And it goes down like this. Alright, there we go. To start off with, Mike Babcock resigns as head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets earlier today, with the team announcing in a statement that a move has already taken effect. The Blue Jackets also announced today that Pascal Vincent will take over as head coach, agreeing to a 2-year contract signed through next season.
Mike Babcock never even coached a game for the Blue Jackets. That's the funny thing.
Yeah. The Blue Jackets also, it was a difficult decision on everyone's part, but one we felt that was needed to ensure that our focus is on the player and the upcoming season, said by Blue Jackets general manager Jamaro Killian. The decision comes after 2 association executives met with the Blue Jackets players on Thursday to investigate whether Babcock violated players' privacy rights when he asked viewing officials ESPN last week. Now, why would you want to do that? To see their picture on their cell phones? What are you, stupid?
Oh, man, that's why.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dumb. Oh, boy. The things some people will do. All right, moving on. Markieff Morris, the other player that brought Kyrie Irving to the Mavericks from the Nets, is re-signing with the Mavericks. The return of Morris was announced yesterday. That comes 2 months after Irving agreed to stay with the Mavericks on a 3-year deal worth $120 million. Both Irving and Morris were traded back in February. Morris was on and off after the trade, only averaging 4.5 points per game in 8.8 minutes with the Mavericks. The forward's career averaged 10.6 points per game and 5.0 rebounds in 12 seasons for 8 different teams. Cavaliers president of basketball operations Kobe Altman was arrested this week, Friday night, on charge of operating a vehicle while he was impaired. Nice going, stupid. Ohio State Patrol troopers stopped Altman just before 9 p.m. local time in Cleveland. He was charged with charging marked lanes violation and an OVI. Troopers at a traffic stop during the interaction with the driver indicators of impairment was observed. The Ohio State Highway Patrol said, according to public reports, the driver was placed under arrest. Oh boy. Police know that Altman did cooperate with the troopers. The Cavaliers said in a statement that they are aware of the situation involving Altman and is gathering more information. Altman arrived with the Cavaliers front office in 2012, rising from the pro personnel department to assistant general manager. He was then promoted to general manager in 2017, then promoted to president of basketball operations in January of 2022 when he signed a contract extension taking him through the 27-28 season. Okay, yeah, sure. All right. Lionel Messi of Inter Miami did not travel with his team. A source told ESPN Argentina. Messi suddenly left Argentina's World Cup qualifying, went over to Ecuador before the final whistle, and though he made Wednesday's trip to Bolivia, he was not named in the 23-man squad as Argentina beat Bolivia 3-0. Miami coach Gerardo Martino said that Messi but wanted to wait until the last training before the game to make a decision about the Stars' availability for Atlanta. We need to be careful with Messi because we have a lot of important games coming up in just a short amount of time. Miami's schedule was already jammed before the international break and had a quick turnaround before facing Toronto on Wednesday. Messi also has two more World Cup qualifiers next month against Paraguay and Peru. Miami's games around that time would be against Charlotte on the 18th of October and closing the season against North Carolina. That's Charlotte, by the way. Yeah. All right. And we got more stuff to do. Oh. Here we go. The Wizards re-signed forward Ty Gibson to a one-year deal worth $3.2 million. Agent Mark Bartelstein of Priority Sports confirmed the free agent's plans back on Friday. The Wizards announced the deal on that afternoon. Gibson averaged 3.4 points and 1.9 rebounds in 9.8 minutes of play in 49 games with 2 starts last season. That was last season, though. In 14 seasons, he's averaged 8.7 points per game, 5.9 rebounds in 445 career starts in 945 games. All right. Well, despite only the 4th place finish in the World Cup for the U.S. in the FIBA tournament, they're back on top of the world rankings. The U.S. flipped spots with Spain for the top spot overall. The world rankings. They were released on Friday. Spain dropped the 2nd overall, but Germany made the big move as they went from 11-3 in the World Cup rankings after winning the tournament, of course. It's possible that the U.S. will keep its top-ranked spot heading into next summer's Olympics, where the U.S. will aim for a 5th straight gold medal. FIBA updates its rankings every few months. Friday's updated rankings were the first time in 7 months. Spain took over the top rankings in November 2022. Now, keep this in mind. FIBA's ranking system changed in 2017 and takes only the last 8 years into account. The Olympic gold medal games from Rio and Tokyo factor into the current rankings and help back-to-back failures to medal in the past 2 World Cup tournaments. The U.S. finished 7th in the 2019 World Cup and 4th in this year's tournament. My question is, how do they do so well in the Olympic tournament, but in the World Cup they just play like trash? Now, to continue with the Blue Jackets mess, Marty Walsh, the executive director of the Players Association, and assistant director Ron Hensley, who played 3 seasons with the Blue Jackets, met with the players at the Nationwide Arena after a morning skate. The Players Association trip to Columbus was not originally planned and was made to look into further allegations against Babcock, who was hired to coach the Blue Jackets back in July, not that long ago. Former NHL player Paul Bissonnette on Tuesday asked Blue Jackets captain Boone Jenner to show him his camera roll before displaying the photos via AirPlay on the coach's office wall. Oh boy. Enough with putting our players on the spot in the coach's room, asking them to link their phones up to AirPlay mode, and grilling them. I had tons of players confirm it. Bissonnette said after the episode on the Splittin' Checklets podcast was released. Jenner was not alone. Blue Jackets forward Johnny Gaudreau confirmed to ESPN that he also had shown Babcock photos that were on his phone per the coach's request.
Oh, Johnny Gaudreau digging up some dirt, huh?
Yeah. A source on ESPN, the Blue Jackets welcomed the investigation to determine if Babcock did any wrongdoing. Oh yeah, you bet he did. What a
Johnny Goodrow. You know what I'm
Johnny
talking
Goodrow.
about?
Yeah, yeah, I know that name. All right, the Sixers signed guard David Duke to a contract on Monday, last Monday. Terms of the contract were not disclosed. What a shock. The former guard from Providence averaged 3.7 points per game, 1.3 rebounds for the Nets last season. So he goes over past the Jersey Turnpike over to Philadelphia. That makes me so sick. He played for the Long Island Nets in the G League, averaging 23 points per game in 22 games. Of all the teams you had to go past the Turnpike to go to our worst enemy. Thanks a lot. I hate when they do that.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay, sad news in the NBA world as former Celtics and Magic player Brandon Hunter passed away at the age of 42. His mother-in-law, Caroline Client, said he collapsed while he was doing hot yoga in Orlando, but
Oh,
there was no official cause of death announced. It was hot yoga certain as he often did, she told NBC News. As far as we know, he was in good shape. We were all in shock. Hunter was a 4-year starter at Ohio State University from 1999 to 2003. He averaged 16.9 per game with 9.3 rebounds and 2.1 assists and played in 119 college games. As a senior, he put up 21.5 points per game with 12.6 rebounds and 2 assists. He was drafted by the Celtics in the second round in 2003 and played only 36 games with 12 starts. What a shame, though, to
I
have that
wonder if it
happen.
was from dehydration.
It might have been. It might have been. He also played for the Magic, 31 games, but had to do that off the bench. Dehydration is a killer, folks.
Yeah, that's what that if you don't drink enough water before, during, or after hot yoga, something bad might happen. It
Yes.
proves it. It proved it.
Okay. Okay. Now for something I find a little bit absurd here. NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley is optimistic that third try for Atlanta to get an NHL team will work, despite the previous two failures. Yeah, right. I think there's some challenges that we may have be seen in the past city of Atlanta that can be overcome. Daley told ESPN and the NHL Player Association Media Tour. Commissioner Gary Bettman said expansion is not the top priority in the league at this time. Oh, for once we agree. Having said that, based on success with the Vegas Golden Knights and the Seattle Kraken, there are more people who want to own a professional hockey team, said Daley. The Knights and Kraken were the most recent additions to the league and found success on both on and off the ice thanks to a revamp in expansion draft rules. There are other potential cities that may be suitable for a hockey franchise, so we have an open door policy, said Daley. If you plan to come and discuss this with us, and we'll evaluate it from there. If it becomes something that our owners are interested in, then we can pursue it. Nothing at the current level has risen lately, but that could change. Atlanta has tried twice before, and both failed. They were the original home of the Flames in 1972, and then left for Calgary in 1970, the 70-80 season at the end of that. Then the Thrashers were the second team in Atlanta from 1999 to 2011 before being reincarnated again as the Winnipeg Jets. Reincarnated as the Jets. Sorry. For you New Jersey Devils fans out there, goaltender Keith Kincaid was signed to a 1-year, 2-way deal. The deal was announced back on September 13th. That's Thursday, worth $775,000 at the NHL level and $350,000 at the AHL level. Most Devil fans remember Kincaid as he played parts in 6 seasons between 2013 and 2019 for Jersey's own. He split last season with the Avalanche and the Bruins, posting a goals against average of 1.37 in 2 games. Kincaid is 70, 58, and 21 with 8 shutouts and a goals against average of 2.91 with a 9.05 save percentage in 169 games with 149 starts for the Devils, Brewers, Rangers, Avalanche, and the Montreal Canadiens. Talk about a globetrotter. Oklahoma City has finalized plans to build a new downtown arena for the Thunder. The city announced back on Wednesday. The Thunder have committed to playing in the new arena for at least the next 25 years. That, according to the city's news release. The plan is to construct the arena, and a commitment by the Thunder is conditional on the passage for one temporary sales tax by Oklahoma City voters on December 12th. The project will cost nearly $1 billion. Okay, if you want exact, make it $900 million. The Thunder ownership group has committed $50 million. As this very public discussion played out over the past year, the people of OKC have expressed Mayor David Holt with two desires. One, to keep the Thunder for as long as possible. Two, not to raise taxes, well, if that can be avoided. We have accomplished those priorities. It's a big win for us, and the arena should be ready by the 29-30 season. Oh my God, I'll be almost 60 years old by then. Ugh, yuck. Now that's scary. Ugh. All right. Okay, more idiots that are in the sports world. As Houston Rockets guard Kevin Porter's alleged attack on his girlfriend at a New York City hotel left the woman with a fractured vertebra and a cut above her eye. Prosecutors revealed his arraignment on September 12th. Porter was charged with felony assault and strangulation in connection with the incident at the Hilton Hotel in Manhattan. Ugh. And his girlfriend is a former WNBA player. Ugh. The things some people do. I mean, it's just embarrassing. Okay, as I mentioned, the Orioles and Rays both clinched a playoff spot, even though the Rangers lost to the Guardians. The Rangers' loss ensured the Orioles and Rays would clinch at least a wild card berth. The Rays beat the Orioles in 11 innings 5-4 and began off-the-field celebration, and the O's players wore orange shirts that read in bold capital letters, "Take October." Okay, I know it's a bit much, but that's how they wrote it. The Rays celebrated in a more quieter fashion. The Orioles made the postseason for the first time since 2016, another benchmark for a team that was a trash dump until last season, as they finished last year with a winning record of 83-79, this year 93-69, and still 2 weeks to go. The Rays are in the postseason at 93-59 for the 5th straight season. They start off with a bang at winning their first 13 games of the year until the Orioles caught up and overtake them in the AL East. But it should be a battle going into the final weeks of the season. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow said he aggravated his right calf in today's game against the Ravens. Burrow appeared to be limping and treating the calf on the sideline in a loss to the Ravens as the Bengals now fall to 0-2. Coach Zach Taylor and Burrow said he would have gone back in the game if there was more time. Unfortunately, the time ran out. However, the severity of the injury remains uncertain. Burrow said he tweaked the ankle on the Bengals' last offensive drive of the game. Burrow said it happened on an incomplete pass to wide receiver Jamar Chase, on which Burrow was not pressured. On the next play, Burrow rolled to his right and leaped to his right foot and found receiver T. Higgins for a 4-yard pass. Burrow finished the day with 222 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Tough break.
Just 1 interception?
Yes, for him. Colorado two-way star player Travis Hunter left last night's double overtime victory against rival Colorado State after taking a hard sideline hit in the first half. Head coach Deion Sanders, yes, primetime himself, had no update after the game other than to say the first thing is that he will miss at least a few weeks. Hunter was taken to the hospital in the third quarter for an evaluation. Sanders did not go into details of the injury to Hunter. He absorbed an illegal hit to his midsection in the second quarter, on incompletion at the Colorado sideline. Colorado State was whistled for 2 fouls on the play. The first was by Nickelback Aiden Hector, and I don't mean the rock group Nickelback, this is a play here, and was flagged for flag interference. And safety Henry Blackburn was assessed for a foul for unsportsmanlike conduct for a late hit out of bounds. Hunter, who coughed up a fumble that was returned for a touchdown, did return the second quarter and play both on offense and defense. The Buffaloes trailed the Rams as Hunter was transported to a hospital, but came back later and are now 3-0 on the year. Along with Buffalo's quarterback Shedeur Sanders, Hunter is an early favorite for the Heisman Trophy after playing at both cornerback and wide receiver. Okay, now I don't know if this story is going to make any sense, but we'll give it a shot anyway. It's not out of the question that Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers could return this season, though I highly doubt it. But he did not give an exact timeline for his return. At least the Jets said that. Rams running back Cam Akers tore his Achilles in 2001 and came back faster than anyone expected, taking only 5 months. Rodgers tore his ACL in last Monday's win over the Bills. The injury occurred on September 11th. February 11th is the 2024 Super Bowl in Las Vegas. So it would be actually 5 months to the day that happened. Okay. Other factors will play into a potential quick return. The Jets will need to do their part by winning. Then there's a question of how his replacement Zach Wilson plays out. If Wilson plays well enough, Rodgers will not want to interfere with his progress. Although, judging by today, that might change the thing right there. Yeah. Rodgers will be expected to be looked at a situation, not just his condition, to see if a return is possible, as much as a long shot as it might be. During an interview on Pat McAfee's show, Rodgers did not dismiss the possibility of returning for the postseason, but avoided giving a timeline. If you want my opinion, you have a torn ACL, that's going to take a lot of time to heal, and at your age, it's going to be, I think, even longer. I don't think it'd be wise to come back, even with the Jets situation of how they are right now. Wilson is not going to carry this team to, a positive winning season, but I still think it'd be a big risk for Rodgers to come back, because I don't think he's going to be ready. The Packers were without their top 3 defensive players as they took on the Falcons today. Running back Aaron Jones and wide receiver Christian Watson were both listed as questionable and were inactive for today's game with hamstring injuries. The Packers were also out linebacker David Bakhtiari, who was inactive with a knee injury. Jones was not in practice all week. He had 127 yards from scrimmage with 2 touchdowns and only 11 catches in the Packers' opening game against the Chicago Bears. However, he did tweak a hamstring on one of the scores. The Packers did make a move yesterday and promoted Patrick Taylor from the practice squad. Watson will miss his second straight game after he sat out the opener. He missed practice Wednesday and Thursday, but was in limited practice on Friday. In his rookie season, which was last year, Watson had 41 catches for 611 yards and 7 touchdowns. Not bad. I got some good news here if anybody's interested. Minnesota Twins manager Rocco Bernardini is taking time away from the team, but it's for a good reason, as his wife is expecting twins. That's right, I said twins. Baldini went on leave after the Twins lost to the White Sox on Saturday night. His wife Alfie is due to give birth in a few days, and I can tell you this right now, she is expecting twin boys, according to this report. The couple were married in July of 2021 and have a daughter that was born in September 2021. After they finish a 3-game series against the White Sox, the Twins will fly out to face the Central Division-leading Reds before starting a 6-game homestand that begins on Friday against the Angels, and presumably the last homestand of the regular season. Bench coach Jason Tingler will handle managing duties while Rocco is away. Right-handers Joe Ryan Kent Matea and Bradley Uber are the scheduled starting pitchers for the next 3 games against the Reds. And Baldini said that the Dallas Keuchel will come out of the bullpen, well, at least for now. Keuchel does not have a record, an ERA of an 8.03 in 3 September starts. Ugh, 8.03. We have 5 different pitchers in the rotation now, and that can change. Baldini said we can go with 5 different guys, we can go with 5 guys, we can go with 4 as we head towards the regular season. We are going to just see the best way to fit everyone. Mm-hmm. Cowboys wide receiver Braden Cooks was listed questionable for today's game, and he is not, but was not expected to play, so told ESPN. He suffered a slight MCL sprain in one knee in last week's blowout win over the Giants. He played in 34 of 58 offensive snaps, 4th among Cowboys receivers and running backs. He did not practice last week as he was going through rehab off to the side. On Wednesday, Crooks said he was fine, adding, "If I'm out there, there is no limitation." Last season with the Texans, Cooks had 57 catches for 669 yards and 3 touchdowns. He did miss 4 games last season, though 3 were due to a calf strain. Cook's absence means the Cowboys will have to deal with Jalen Tolbert, Giovanni Turpin, and Jalen Brooks, who was inactivated last week, to go alongside C.D. Lamb and Michael Gallup. In addition to receiving a new quarterback, the Jets will get a new kicker as they face the Cowboys today. Greg Zuerlein, who injured his groin in Thursday's practice, was ruled out today and will be replaced by Austin Siebert, who was just signed today. Siebert was one of 3 kickers who worked out for the Jets on Saturday. Zuerlein had a strong preseason, converting 9 out of 10 field goals. The Jets are just not looking this to be a long-term injury, so Siebert just might be a one-game rental. Ah, well. Siebert was a 5th-round pick for the Browns in 2019. He has made 44 of 55 field goals and 55 of 61 extra points in his career. He last appeared in a game last season with the Lions, but was released by the Lions on October 7th. And one person replied, "I see why he injured himself. I'll get out of here." Iowa tight end Luke Lacey suffered a significant injury to his right leg as they beat Western Michigan 41-10 on Saturday night. "You hate to lose a player like Luke to an injury," said Coach Kirk Fuentes said last night. "It's a fairly significant injury, so we will know more in a few days' time. They're assessing that, but there's a downside to the game." Lacey was injured on an incomplete pass from Cade McNamara on third down late in the first quarter, play before kicker Drew Stevens missed a 41-yard field goal. Lacey needed to be assisted off the field and was not able to put any weight off his right foot. He had 10 receptions for 131 yards in 2+ games this season. Last season, he caught 25 passes for 398 yards and 4 touchdowns. Iowa has a tough matchup next Saturday as they go up against Penn State. Okay, just Penn State. Oh boy.
Penn State's a bunch of sheep.
I like them. Anywho, I want to send wishes to Phillies manager Charlie Manuel, who led the team to a World Series in 2008 as he suffered a stroke over the weekend. The Phillies said Manuel was undergoing a procedure in Florida when he had the stroke. Doctors were able to remove a blood clot. He said the next 24 hours will be crucial to his recovery, and the family asked that you keep him in his thoughts and prayers during this time, the Phillies said in a release. Oh, boy. Good luck, Charlie. Under Charlie, the Phillies won 5 straight NL East titles from 2007 to 2011. They beat the Rays in 2008 in the World Series. It was the city's first title by any of the major sports teams since 1983. And Harry Kalas called that game, and the call opening day in the next season and passed away during that game. But I still remember that call. Strike him out! Phillies win! Oh boy. Yeah. The Dodgers have done it again as they clinched their 10th division title in 11 years. The Dodgers wrapped up the NL West with a win over the Mariners on Saturday night with a 6-2 win, and the celebration was on the clubhouse after the game. So why not? Winning the division is always something special, but doing it by winning a game and not by default made it even more special, said by manager Dave Roberts. I agree. The clinching game had an October feel with a packed stadium, a tense 9 innings, and the unexpected heroes in extra innings. Mad Max Muncy singled off Gabe Spinner, scored Mookie Betts from second base in the top of the 11th to give the Dodgers a 2-1 lead. Chris Taylor and Enrique Hernandez followed with 2-run singles off of Isaiah Campbell, and numerous fans in Dodger Blue roared in approval as the Mariners fans went to the exits. Evan Phillips pitched the 10th inning, and Joe Kelly got the last 3 outs. While the Dodgers will spend the remaining 2 weeks solidifying their playoff position, the Mariners struggled to make a ground in the AL West. And they lost today as well. Well, I should say now yesterday. The Rangers and Astros both lost, and we know it's with that. Kershaw pitched 4 innings in his first game since September 5th. Got off to a shaky start by walking the first 2 of the 3 batters he faced, but he did strike out 4 batters and 55 pitches, even though he gave up 2 hits, and was relieved by Emmett Sheehan after that. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. And okay, Yankee reliever Anthony this week was out of the hospital yesterday after taking a line drive to the face. The Yankees placed him on a 7-day concussion list. Ugh. The reliever was struck by a 100-mile-per-hour pitch by Jinhua Bei in the 6th inning in a 7-5 win over the Pirates with 2 runners on. Mizwitz could not get his glove in time for an attempted catch. I saw that, what happened in that inning, like, oh my God, what happened here? Ugh. You hate to see a player go down, especially as we're heading towards playoff time. Alright, well, I kind of thought this was going to happen, and now it has. Angels two-way sensation Shohei Ohtani is officially done for the season, as he was placed on the 10-day injured list with an oblique injury. It comes the day after his locker was cleared out without any explanation. Ohtani missed the previous 11 games with another oblique injury. It might have been the last time that Ohtani might have played in an Angels uniform, as he is expected to become a free agent as soon as the World Series ends. I knew it was going to happen. Alright. Just to see here about... Chicago Cubs All-Star Marcus Stroman was activated from the 15-day injured list and pitched 2 scoreless innings despite a loss to the D-backs, as both teams battle for a wildcard spot with about 2 weeks left in the regular season. The Cubs are hoping that Stroman can help the bullpen as they're trying to make a playoff push. The right-hander missed the last 6 weeks with inflammation in his right hip. Oof. That's not good. He was 10-8 with a 3.85 ERA in 23 starts this season, but manager David Ross says for now he'll be in the bullpen. The Cubs are in the midst of a dogfight for the NL wildcard spot. The D-backs moved into a tie with the Reds for the final spot, while the Cubs are in the second position at the time, a game and a half ahead of the D-backs and Reds. It's a dogfight, folks. What can I say? Yeah. All right, just a few more here, and then we'll be done. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah, and the Outback Crimson Tide appear to make a change at quarterback. Sophomore Tyler Buckner did take over the team from Jalen Milroe as he took on USF on Saturday, and for the first time in quite a while, they fall out of the top 10 in the college football rankings. They fall to number 13. Buckner, who was transferred from Notre Dame in the spring, took on most of the first team reps in practice this past week, sources said. Oh boy. Milroe started the first 2 games, but threw 2 interceptions in the loss to Texas, which I was not surprised. Buckner played under offensive coordinator Tommy Rees last season when they were both at Notre Dame. He played in cleanup duty in their 56-7 blowout win against Mid-Tennessee in the opener. He completed 3 of 5 passes for 27 yards. Buckner began last season as Notre Dame's quarterback until the injury in the second game of the season. However, he returned to play in the Gator Bowl and scored 5 touchdowns with 3 interceptions in a classic 45-38 win over South Carolina. That was a game. Believe me, that was a game. Okay, just let's see if we missed anything else here of importance. Yeah. I still don't think that Rodgers is gonna come back. All right.
No.
Top Yankee prospect Jason Dominguez will undergo Tommy John surgery next week. Manager Aaron Boone said back on Friday before they split Thursday's doubleheader against the Red Sox. Jason will have the surgery on Wednesday, Boone said while sitting in the dugout speaking to reporters. What a shame. The center fielder was removed from last Sunday's game against the Brewers because his right elbow had limited his swing during batting practice. Recovery time is expected to take 9 months. It was just essentially making sure just when you're talking about major surgery, having a few doctors taking a look to see if everything and make recommendations. And Jason picking a surgeon that I wanted to go with, Boone said. A timetable for Dominguez's return has not been discussed. Boone said he must have the surgery first. There is a standard 9 months for what it takes to get from procedure to the recovery to come all the way back. Dominguez made his Yankee debut on September 1st, had 4 home runs and 7 RBIs in his first 8 games. The Yankees placed Harrison Bader on waivers to open a roster spot for Dominguez. Entering on Thursday, the Yankees were tied for last with the Red Sox in the AL East, but now they are 2 games up over the Red Sox. Yeah, thank goodness. And probably the surprise story of the week, the Red Sox have fired Chief Officer Chaim Bloom after only 4 years on the job. The Red Sox made the announcement before the start of Thursday's doubleheader against the Yankees as they took the first 2 games of the 4-game series to drop the Red Sox in a tie for last place. Man, oh man. People were kind of surprised by that. Bloom was hired from the Rays to revive a farm system to help bring in financial stability to a team that was once one of the major's big spenders. One of his first actions was to trade 2018 MVP Mookie Betts on a mandate from ownership to get their payroll in order. The Red Sox general manager Brian Halloran have offered a new leadership role in the baseball operations department. Now, the Red Sox haven't really been the same team since they won the World Series in 2018. Oh, boy. Just like that. You win the World Series, and then crash and burn. Well, of course, this was the time of year when long-time players announce their retirement. But this is going to be a little bit different because Cardinals pitcher Adam Wainwright is going to go out with a bang in a different way, as he'll perform on an entirely different stage before bidding a farewell to his fans. Wainwright will do a post-game concert during the final week of the regular season. Wainwright will retire at the end of the season, but not before treating his fans to playing 3 original songs from his new country album. That's right, he's a musician on the side. He is scheduled to perform on the last day of the season, which is September 30th. Wainwright won his 199th game of his career on Tuesday. He also won a World Series title a 3-time All-Star, and 2 Gold Gloves. This is not his first time performing at the Cardinals home stadium. He also performed the national anthem at the Cardinals home opener this year. He said before the game against the Orioles that this is a great opportunity. Nice way to go out. Yeah. And one more note. The Marlins are taking it day by day with Cy Young winner Sandy Alcantara after an MRI revealed that he has a sprained right UCL, said manager Skip Schumacher. You said it before Wednesday's win over the Brewers. Thursday, I should say. Alcantara, who went on the 15-day injured list on September 6th, was diagnosed with a right forearm strain. He experienced discomfort on September 3rd against the Nationals. Ugh. Not a way to end your season. Alcantara said his arm feels 100%. He told reporters, but he said Schumacher declined to say when he'll be able to return this season. He is eligible to come off the injured list on Tuesday, now tomorrow. I just don't know, the pitcher said. I had to stay positive and tell myself day by day to take advantage of the opportunity. He missed the start of last season with a bicep injury, but had been one of the most durable pitchers in the last 5 seasons. Alcantara topped the majors in innings and complete games last season and won the NL Cy Young Award, the first ever for a Marlins player. Though he only went 7-12 in his first season with a 4.14 ERA, he leads the majors again in completed games and innings pitched. As I said, the Braves, of course, have clinched the division title. Well, no surprise there. Oh yeah, I got one more article here. I think this is important. The NFLPA new executive director called for the league to switch to all grass surfaces, all field surfaces to natural grass in the aftermath of the injury to Aaron Rodgers, which ended his season abruptly. Rodgers suffered a torn Achilles tendon on the 4th play of the Jets game against Buffalo, wrecking his Jets debut and discussing the league-wide debate over playing surfaces on NFL stadiums. MetLife Stadium, which is the home of the Jets and Giants, installed a new surface called Field Turf, which is a much more softer and more forgiving field than the old synthetic turf. But the injury to Rodgers sparked an outcry for grass surfaces, said Executive Director Lloyd, echoed in the statement being released on Tuesday. Moving all stadiums to natural grass surfaces is the easiest decision that the league can make, said Lloyd Howell. The players overwhelmingly prefer, and data is clear that natural grass is safer than AstroTurf. No kidding. As I said on my show Saturday, that there's a way I look at it. Grass is landing softly. It feels more like mush or more like a cushion. If you fall on turf, it feels more like you're falling on concrete, and that's a lot harder. This has been an issue near the top of the players' list during my team visits, and one I had raised with the league. Commissioner Roger Goodell said in an interview with ESPN that player safety remains an issue with the league, and noted that the grass versus turf debate remains a very complex issue with the league and will continue to be addressed with the union. I say do it. It's going to cause a lot less serious injury, I think, if they go to natural grass. I mean, yeah, it's not going to eliminate, injuries completely, but I think it's going to reduce a very high serious risk. All right, that'll conclude my notes for the day. I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. True Sports episode 82 is in the can. We'll recap the 2 Monday Night Football games on Tuesday night at 10 p.m.
All right.
Until then, for Lewis Tenor, I'm Taylor. Ta-ta.
Good night, folks.